The Dolor Factor is sponsored by Ladera, a romantic paradise. Lime, value every moment. Illuminous, your transformation begins here. Rituals, grounds for enjoyment. And supported by the Cultural Development Foundation, Creativity, Culture, Community.
At the beginning of the year, did you make an extra effort to be healthy? How are you doing? Are you eating better and exercising more frequently? Let the Dolor Factor help you maintain your health plans in 2015. My guest tonight has a wealth of knowledge, and with her partners from around the Caribbean, she knows her stuff when it comes to preventative care and herbal medicine. Believe me, we'll discuss things like, is health the natural way, the best way? We'll talk of herbs and remedies that you've probably heard about but don't know enough about. We'll start from the beginning, from cleansing the body to maintaining the elements needed to build the body to resist common and often very preventative stresses and diseases. We ask women, do you know what's good for your bodies and what's the best herbs to encourage your men to use? So stay with us on the Dolor Factor as we discover how the herbs and flowers around us can make us feel better than we do now.
As an entertainer, I have seen many wonderful places around the world, but my favorite is Ladera Resort. Ladera is my favorite place to be, but the reasons why are difficult to put into words. Ladera itself is a mystical place that stimulates unforgettable memories in a setting that awakens your passion for nature and evokes romance. This is a place for rest and relaxation, recreation, and even recreation. I usually go to Ladera for a brief escape from the everyday, but I always leave revitalized and inspired. If you ever imagine what it is like in heaven, I believe you will get a glimpse of it at Ladera Resort. Ladera. There is nowhere else quite like it.
Hello, I'm Delia Dolor and welcome to the Dolor Factor. I'm really excited, as I usually am when I'm actually with you, to share with you some of the issues that you've asked us that you want us to cover. And most of the time, if you're not asking about relationships, you're asking about health. I wonder how many of you have really started seriously doing what you said you would do at the beginning of the year, which was to think or to act with a more healthy attitude. Well, my guest, she knows all about maintaining a healthy lifestyle, and she'll help you along the way too. So I'd like to welcome to the Dolor Factor Dr. Gilbertha St. Rose. Thank you for being with us.
Yeah, thank you, Delia. It's a pleasure to be here and to share with our listeners about healthy matters.
Great.
Yeah.
Now, just for the listeners outside of our island, our beautiful island of St. Lucia, can you tell our viewers something about you?
Well, I'm Gilbertha St. Rose, born in St. Lucia and graduate of the University of the West Indies. Headquarters was in Jamaica. Then I did my postgrad training in the UK in dermatology and in herbal medicine. I had to go to the UK to do herbal medicine because we don't yet have a program in the West Indies. But I was happy to return to St. Lucia to really promote our Caribbean herbs, which is one of my main activities at the moment. So at the moment, I practice integrative medicine. So integrative medicine is the use of conventional medicine, which is what I trained in, and utilizing herbal medicine, now called phytotherapy. So I use the two together to get the best results for various illnesses.
Wow, wonderful. Now, it all sounds very in-depth but interesting at the same time. How did your interest start?
Well, Delia, my interest started from after I graduated of my conventional medical training, practicing in St. Lucia and interacting with my patients. I realized that certain illnesses were just recurring. You know, the way conventional medicine works, you treat the symptoms and the underlying cause of the problem remains. so the disease or the symptoms will recur. So what we call the recurring, I call it a recurring decimal of illnesses. So I realize getting to the underlying cause of the problem is really the way to good health and also to prevent. So herbal medicine really addresses the underlying cause of problems. And we will talk about the fundamental thing for keeping healthy: detoxification and cleansing, getting rid of inflammation, because inflammation now has been shown to be the underlying cause of so many illnesses in addition to aging. So herbal medicine is one of these modalities that can address this inflammatory process and also the aging process.
Now, a lot, well, in the Caribbean mostly, a lot of people rely very heavily on herbal medicines, but we're here in St. Lucia. What about the rest of the Caribbean? How can other people know who to go to? Because gone are the days, well, I think, where although we can go to our grandmothers or great-grandmothers a long time ago, that's where we all went, more than sometimes the traditional doctors.
Yes.
If we're, say, outside of St. Lucia, how would you say to somebody else, well, if you have an interest in herbal medicines, where would they go to find that information?
Oh wow, to get our Caribbean herbs. Luckily we have a research group, Delia, called TRAMEL. It's called Traditional Medicines of the Islands, and we've actually researched the commonly used herbs, taken the information to the laboratory and tested for toxicology and also for efficacy. So we've done the pharmacological activity and the research on the herbs, and persons can go to the website tramel.net and get our information. But TRAMEL is more academic in terms of getting the evidence, but in practical terms, Eden Herbs, which is my company, which I started in 1996, is one of the companies where you can get reputable herbal products that will address particular problems. And we spoke of cleansing. My commonly used product is called the Tisane Purify and Tonic. And in it, I've put together 10 herbs which address the various parts of the body for detoxification and cleansing and getting rid of inflammation.
How do you know what is right to put in some of the things that you're dispensing? How can you reassure our viewers that what they're getting is good for them?
And that's very important to know, Delia, because this information that I use to put together the Tisane Purify and Tonic and my other Eden Herb products came from the research work of TRAMEL. So there's evidence that has been validated that the pharmacological activity of these herbs are in keeping with what is needed by the body. So in the Tisane, which is also called a Purify and Tonic, you have 10 herbs, and each of them targets a particular part of the body. So you have some herbs, for example, the cerasee, which a lot of people know, will help with the liver and help the liver in its detoxification and cleansing activity. You have, for example, the cas, the long cas, which is good for the colon, for cleansing the colon. And it doesn't purge, but it will help to maintain good activity in the colon. We have the broadleaf thyme, which will help with the respiratory aspect of the body. And we have it's called Leaf of Life, Wonder of the World. This one targets the kidney and the genital urinary tract for cleansing that aspect of the body. So you'll find the 10 herbs that I've put together will target the various parts of the body to give a good, thorough cleansing. Although, Delia, conventional medicine will not address things like detoxification, unfortunately, which is the most important thing, because toxins and waste in the body what will be causing the degeneration and the underlying cause of disease. Cancer, for example, which is so much on the increase. Part of what's causing it is the inflammation and the waste that, just keeps into the body and causes these adverse activities.
No, it's interesting that you say that, because when people think of cancer, we're always told stress. Or I remember a few years ago, is we don't know what caused it. It's just something. It's either hereditary or it's just something, and it's a combination of stress. So it's nice to kind of know that we'll perhaps start our next segment looking at the beginnings of things and the basics and stuff like that. But very briefly, what is your ultimate aim? When we're finished with the show tonight, what would you like the viewers to take away with
Well,
them?
Delia, I'd really like the viewers to, well, we spoke of the cleansing and detoxification, but I really want to emphasize the importance of a holistic view, because look, you mentioned stress. We know stress is a very important component. In fact, now about 90% of illnesses are psychosomatic, which are stress related. So when we look at holistic healing, we look at not just the cleansing. And when we talk of cleansing, it's not just the physical cleansing, but it's spiritual cleansing. And then we have to look at the social aspects, the emotional aspects, the environmental aspects. And we look at basic things like getting enough sleep, getting enough, water intake, exercise. So, it's a whole holistic approach. So Eden Herbs address a part of that problem by saying cleansing and giving you herbs, but there are other things to consider, and this is what I would really like our viewers to take home and work on.
Okay, and I'm sure they will. This is the Dolor Factor. We'll be right back. Hello, I'm Delia Dolor. The Dolor Factor will be filming in London in March 2015. So if you have friends and family in the UK and you'd like them to win a week's complimentary stay at Paradise Ridge at Ladera Resort in St. Lucia with butler service, tell them to attend the entertainment show in celebration of my sisters, which I'm hosting with the BBC's Brenda Imanis. Visit our Facebook page or call us for more information. See you in London.